Global Dynasty 168, home of entrepreneurs.
Try the newest, cheapest, and fastest delivery na express service. Introducing Moto Express PH. You can now leave your shopping and delivery needs with us without much exposure and interaction to people outside. Mapa-grocery items, medicines, foods, and other essentials and halal-certified products, kami na ang mamimili at maghahatid sa'yo. Sinisigurado na ligtas, in good and quality condition ang mga pabili o orders sa delivery service na iyong i-avail. Para sa maayos at mabilis na delivery at order mo, ipamoto mo na. Download Moto Express PH app through Google Play that is built to deliver beyond your expectation. Tara na dito sa Moto Express. Dahil moto mo to.
Are you craving for some milk tea and donuts but you're watching your diet? Good news! You can now enjoy a healthier and superbly delicious keto milk tea and donuts here at Winkle Milk Tea and Winkle Donut. Has fewer calories, so it's good for the health and diet conscious and controlling weight. Why choose Winkle Milk Tea and Winkle Donut? The first halal certified milk Winkle Teas and Winkle Donut in the Philippines. The first healthy keto milk tea franchise in the Philippines. FDA approved. Uniquely infused milk tea flavors with high quality ingredients and premium taste. And if you want a healthy and refreshing franchise opportunity, a competitive healthy blended milk tea and donut franchise awaits you. We have business opportunity options you can choose from. Online seller, micro franchise, unit franchise, master franchise, international franchise. Order via our Facebook page, Winkle Tea and Winkle Donut, or contact 0995-551-4380 to experience this happiness in a box with your favorite Winkle Milk Tea and Winkle Donut.
Hello everyone, today I'm going to teach you on how to register in our platform. Firstly, you need to click www.ejasmine.com. This is how our platform interface looks like once you click www.ejasmine.com. As you can see, on the top right corner, click the login or register button. You will see two options, which is login button and register button. If you already have an account, just simply fill in your details. But if you does not have an account, click the register button and fill in your details requirement. If you are interested for becoming a vendor, you can click become a vendor button below. For vendor registration, you need to complete the details requirement. If you have halal certificate, you need to upload it on this section. Last but not least, once you have completed all the detail requirements, just click the register button. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I begin in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the entirely merciful, the especially merciful. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh po sa ating mga kapatid na mga Muslim, and good afternoon sa ating mga kababayan. Alhamdulillah, for this 2 hours program po, po yung makakasama, Elenida Jess, and alhamdulillah, akin pong i-share sa inyo yung ilan sa mga siguro nakakatulong ito sa ating mga kapatid na mga bago pa lang po sa Islam or yung mga bagong reverts to Islam. Yung mga tinatawag ng karamihan, yung mga balik Islam. I'm trying my best to share sa inyo po sa mga ilan sa mga provisions or yung sa ating PD 1083, mga ilan sa mga articles na pwede ko ma-share sa inyo. And then, kukuha rin po ako ng mga ilang mga articles or rules na mababasa po natin from this Administrative Order number 1 series of 2005. Hinggil po ito sa Rules and Regulations Governing Registration of Acts and Events concerning civil status of Muslim Filipinos. Yes po, ito po yung ating tatalakayin. And from time to time, I will try my best na i-connect ko ito sa ilan sa mga articles na mababasa natin sa PD 1083. Okay, paalala ko lang po sa ating mga kapatid, sa ating mga tagapagsubaybay sa programang Pag-usapan Natin na ang akin pong i-share sa inyo ay opinion ko lang po. This does not represent any legal advice. Kung nangangailangan po kayo ng mga advice na mga eksperto, lalo na po sa mga topics na aking ma-share sa inyo dito, please seek advice po sa ating mga Shariah counselors o kaya sa mga regular lawyers po ng ating bansa. Marami naman po kayong malalapitan to explain po sa inyo o mag-interpret po sa inyo sa mga concerns niyo, mga kapatid ko sa Islam. Alhamdulillah. Before I start sharing po, nagpapasalamat po ako sa ating butihing President, Ismail Abaya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh po sa inyo, Pres. Thank you for this opportunity na kung saan maka-share po natin ang ilan po sa mga batas, kaya sa Sharia po na ang pagbabatayan po natin, halimbawa yung sa from PD 1083, na mai-share natin sa karamihan ng ating mga Muslims, lalo na po sa mga nagre-revert to Islam. Dahil marami po sa, kagaya ko, I am a revert to Islam, marami pong mga issues and concerns na dapat po magkakaroon tayo ng kaalaman. And then I would like to give thanks also to the Bounce Back Network as well as the affiliate channels worldwide. And thank you rin po, Director Carl. Alhamdulillah. And thank you so much sa mga palagi mong pag-assist sa atin dito po sa mga programa at sa iba pang programa natin with GPTV 168. I would like to say salam also to Sharia Counselor Noor. Pagaling po kayo, Attorney Noor. Alhamdulillah, pinagpatuloy pa rin po natin ating programa. Sa ngayon po, talaga we need you to share your expertise po sa ating programa, lalo na po sa ganito mga issues and concerns na really affecting our Filipino reverts to Islam po. Inshallah po, sana makakasama ka po namin sa mga susunod po na edisyon ng ating Pag-usapan Natin. Inshallah po. And sa mga kapatid ko, saan man kayo na sa ating bansa, lalo na po yung mga kapatid ko, sina Sister Mona Leaf of Davao. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi po, Sister. Sister Lenny, Sister Abigail po of Pampanga, Brother Dawood, yung ating mga kapatid, sina Brother Brian Toledo, and marami po, of course, they at this for the meantime, mga respective responsibilities po sila. I wish na makakasama ko po sila sa ating programa. But of course, sa ating pong for the whole duration po ng ating program, ito po ang mag-iisa ninyong kapatid, Elenida Jess, who would be trying to share some, I believe, importante na mga kaalaman na matutunan po natin. And at the same time, alhamdulillah, I am also learning along the way. Every time na nag-share po ako, this really, para bang, this idea, this concepts, this mga articles na mababasa po natin from PD 1083, nagkakaroon po siya ng, let's say, clearer view na po sa akin. Alhamdulillah, nagpapasalamat din po ako sa ating butihing Sharia Counselor Noor dahil siya po yung gumagabay sa amin, especially with our paralegal training with Sister Mariam at yung ilan pa sa ating mga kapatid. Alhamdulillah. At least, kahit ko konti lang po yung ma-share ko sa inyo, I hope na magkakaroon po ito ng tulong lalo na sa ating mga reverts to Islam. Yes, inshallah po, ang Muslim community po sa Philippines, kung napapansin po ninyo, ay unti-unti po itong dumarami. Lumalaki po ang Muslim population po natin. Dito po sa Cebu, alhamdulillah, may mga Islamic centers po rito sa Cebu na kung saan yung mga kapatid nating mga Muslims ay nagmamanage talaga sila ng mga Islamic centers, and then nagkakaroon na po ng maraming mga pumapasok sa Islam. And I hope na yung aking tatalakayin sa ngayon maging guide o magbigay sa kanila ng kaalaman na ano ba ang dapat nilang gawin kung sakaling may mga nagsyahada. Pag sinabi natin nagsyahada sa mga non-Muslim po, ito po yung profess in the belief in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the prophethood of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam as the last prophet po. So may mga proseso dapat na malaman ang ating mga kapatid, lalo na sa mga nabigyan ng mga katungkulan na magdadawa o mag-spread ng Islam. And hindi po pwede yung hanggang sa pag-invite lang po tayo sa ating mga kapatid na sa ating mga kababayan to know Islam, to enter into Islam. Alalahanin po natin, meron pong mga provisions, meron po tayong batas na dapat nating at alamin at ati pong we have to follow para nang sa ganoon magkakaroon tayo ng smooth na mga activities po o kaya pagpapatupad ng ating batas. At alam po natin na lalo na po sa Civil Code of the Philippines, Article 3, binabanggit doon na ignorance to the law excuses no one from compliance therewith. So mga kapatid, I hope you are ready to learn with me. I would just be reading some of these concerns that I hope is very beneficial sa atin po. From time to time, babasahin ko po yung itong rules and regulations governing registration of acts and events concerning civil status of Muslim Filipinos, as well as yung ilan sa mga articles po ng PD 1083. Mainly, ang aking i-share po sa inyo, kung sakaling may mga mag-revert to Islam, ano po ang ating mga responsibilities? Ano po ang dapat nating gawin? So of course, yung conversion to Islam, may mga dapat gagawin tayo, lalo na yung sa registration of conversion to Islam. So with this, meron pa po tayong maidagdag. Pangalawa po yung halimbawa, yung ano yung mababasa natin na mga guides or laws or rules na magbigay sa atin ng mga procedure, lalo na yung sa registration of birth. Pangatlo, I'll try to manage po with the span of time that we have with this Pag-usapan Natin program, yung registration of marriage. And lastly, kung kakaroon pa tayo ng sapat na time, yung registration of divorce. Okay? So from time to time, I will pick some articles from this rules and regulation governing registration of acts and events concerning civil status of Muslim Filipinos with the PD 1083. Ano po yung mga provisions o mga articles na pwede nating ma-connect. And then sa mga baguhan pa lang po, lalo na sa mga newly reversed to Islam, our lives, of course, as new Muslim po, is not that only na we know how to pray 5 times in a day, o kaya yung mga basic na mga kaalaman po natin as Muslim. We have to understand also that there are certain provisions that we have to follow, of which babasahin ko po sa inyo, saan po ito mababasa natin. I will be reading for example, the Presidential Decree 1083. Ito po yung decree to ordain and promulgate a code recognizing the system of Filipino Muslim laws, codifying Muslim personal laws, and providing for its administration and for other purposes. Napakaganda po nito dahil, okay, binanggit po dito sa introductory part po ng PD 1083, whereas, pursuant to the spirit of the provision of the Constitution of the Philippines that, in order to promote the advancement and effective participation of the national cultural communities in the building of the new society, the state shall consider their customs, traditions, beliefs, and interests in the formulation and implementation of its policies. And secondly, whereas Islamic law and its principles of equity and justice, to which the Filipino Muslim communities adhere, provide an essential basis for the fuller development of said communities in relation to the search for harmonious relations of all segments of the Filipino nation to enhance national unity. Alhamdulillah, napakaganda po ang adhikain ng ating government sa ating po mga mambabatas. Binibigyan po tayo ng guide. Why? Kinakailangan po natin ito. These are essential bases po. Binanggit dito for the fuller development of said communities. Bakit kinakailangan natin ito? This is in relation to the search for harmonious relations of all segments of the Filipino nation. So, yung mga hindi pa nila gaano kabisado kung ano ang Islam, who are the Muslims, siguro po bigyan niyo ng time ang sarili ninyo na alamin talaga ano ang Islam, o sino-sino ang mga Muslim. Nang sa ganoon po, yung mga, as much as possible, learn Islam from within sa amin pong mga Muslims. And of course, hindi natin ma-deny, may mga, natural naman po, may mga not good Muslims and may mga good Muslims po. And let's make sure po na yung kinukunan natin ng batayan o kaya from whom we seek this information about Islam from. And then, ano yung mga criteria na titingnan po ninyo? Kung maaari po, seek this knowledge from the righteous Muslims, o yung mga practicing Muslims, the true believer po. And of course, sa inyong mga lugar, meron mga masjid, you may ask po sa mga nagdadala po o nag-administer o kaya ng mga masjids, halimbawa yung mga tinatawag natin mga imam o kaya yung mga ustads na nagdadala po ng mga different Islamic centers. And the best po, doon po rin kayo magtanong sa mga Shariah counselors o kaya sa mga regular lawyers po. Okay, so sa nabanggit ko ang kabutihan dulot ng pag-alam o kaalaman natin sa ating mga batas, lalo na po sa ating as mga Muslims, na mababasa po natin from this PD 1083 ay nakakatulong po in living harmoniously po sa ating society, of which nasa Pilipinas tayo, hindi lahat ng mga kapitbahay natin, mga family members o mga relatives natin ang mga Muslims, and we try our best po na magkakaroon po tayo ng at least magkakaroon po tayo ng guidelines paano tayo mamumuhay to be somebody na let's say a good Muslim in our society. Okay, so mga tagapakinig sa ating mga tagapagsubaybay, mga kapatid ko na Muslims, babasahin ko po sa inyo yung registration of conversion to Islam. And nasa ano po ito, this copy that I have is on page 7 po. Kung sakaling gusto niyo pong i-check ito, this is from the Office of the Civil Registrar General, the National Statistic Office po. Sa Rule 12, ang babasahin ko muna sa inyo, ang registration of conversion to Islam. So this is really an opportunity for us to learn. Ano talaga ang gagawin natin? Kung, limbawa, may ilang mga mamamayang Filipino na nag-revert to Islam. So babasahin ko po itong rule number 12, registration of conversion to Islam. Registration of a person's conversion to Islam is prima facie proof that he professes the Islamic faith and thus becomes a Muslim. It shall be governed by the following rules. Dito po, may 4 na mga paragraphs akong babasahin sa inyo, of which nasa rule number 12 po ito ng nabanggit ko na rules and regulations governing registration of acts and events concerning civil status of Muslim Filipinos. A person who desires to embrace Islamic faith shall accomplish the certificate of conversion to Islam by providing the following information. Unang-una, his or her full name, sex, civil status, date of birth and age, place of birth, occupation, residence, citizenship, parents, and their respective religions. The certificate shall be attested to by at least 2 witnesses who must be Muslim Filipinos. In case the convert is a minor, the consent of the parents or the guardian is necessary. So, in my own opinion po, kinakailangan talaga magkakaroon o maisunod natin ito. Kaya we are aware kung ano yung ating gagawin if we are a revert to Islam. So, yung may mga intention na pumasok o kaya mag-learn what Islam is all about, and then finally, you understand and you have embraced Islam, alhamdulillah, ito po yung magiging guide ninyo. So, ano yung mga information na nabanggit? Of course, yung inyong full name. Next is that pag-identify if you are a female or a male, yung civil status mo, date of birth, and age, at iba pa. So, sa kalaman po rin ng ating mga kapatid, lalo na yung sa mga nagdadala po ng mga Islamic centers, baka sa inyo pong sa pagdadawa, may mga minor na nag-profess ng kanyang intention po to embrace Islam. Dito po, klarong-klaro po sa Rule 12, sa registration of conversion to Islam, especially in paragraph 1, dapat po may consent of the parents o kaya of the guardian po. So, kinakailangan po ito. Di po pwede na mairehistro yung bata without the consent of the parents nor sa guardian po. So, careful po tayo dito, mga kapatid. Okay, so number 2 or nasa paragraph 2. In addition, the convert shall submit a certification that she has undergone an orientation on basic principles and practices of Islam from any accredited Muslim organization by the Office of the Muslim Affairs or the OMA or from any recognized and competent ustads or ulama. The circuit registrar shall require submission of such certification. So you may ask the assistants po o yung mga kung saan po yung mga organizations na recognized po by the Office of the Muslim Affairs. So regularly may mga pagkakaroon po ng mga orientation o kaya yung mga Islamic teachings na binibigay po ang mga different Muslim organizations. So dapat po alamin din ninyo if this is accredited po ng accredited Muslim organization po. Pag sinasabi nating accredited, meaning recognized po siya ng Office on Muslim Affairs. Di po pwede yung basta-basta na lang po na mag-issue um, ng yung hindi po pwede mag-issue ng certificate without proper accreditation po ang isang Muslim organization. So, napaka-importante alamin natin na ang mga proseso na dapat nating daanin. Especially sa mga nagdadala po ng mga Islamic centers. Kung may mga orientation po kayong mga ginagawa, so make sure rin po may pakipag-ugnayan po kayo ng Office on Muslim Affairs. Nang sa ganun, yung certification na i-issue ninyo sa reverts to Islam ay talagang mabigyan po din ng visa o kaya matatanggap po sa mga concerned agency po ng ating government. Lalo na po, ini-require po ito ng circuit register. So kung magkakaroon kayo ng certification o kaya registration, ito po yung kinakailangan. So number 3, ilang copies po ba ang kinakailangan? 4 copies of the Certificate of Conversion to Islam shall be submitted for registration within 30 days after the date of its execution by the convert or his authorized representative to Shariah Circuit Court where conversion occurred. So, mga kapatid, may time frame po within 30 days. Binanggit po dito sa paragraph 3, yung 4 na kopya of the Certificate of Conversion to Islam dapat po mai-submit for registration within 30 days after the date of its execution by the convert or his authorized representative to the Shariah Circuit Court where conversion occurred. In the city or municipality where there is no Sharia court, conversion to Islam shall be reported by the same person to the LCRO, yung sa local civil registrar po ninyo, or of the place of conversion who shall forward the same to the Shariah Circuit Court where the convert is domiciled under the procedures of out-of-town reporting. Of course, sa mga binabasa ko po dito, you may ask for verification po, lalo na sa ating mga expert, yung sa mga Sharia counselors po natin o kaya sa ating regular lawyers to guide you po paano po ma-register ang inyong conversion to Islam. In the case the convert is not domiciled within the territorial jurisdiction of the 5 Sharia judicial districts, the registration shall be at the nearest Sharia Circuit Court. In such case, the convert, in addition to the requirements under Rule 12, yung paragraph 1 and 2, certify under oath that he has not registered such conversion before any circuit registrar. The same shall be annexed to the certificate of conversion and simultaneously filed therein. Okay? So, number 4, or paragraph 4 po of rule number 12, yung sa binanggit natin na guide. The 4 copies of the certificate of conversion shall be distributed after registration by the circuit registrar as follows. The first copy to the convert, second copy to the CRG, third copy to the district registrar, and the fourth copy for his file. Alhamdulillah. So, ito po yung mga kapatid, yung nabasa natin, yung registration of conversion to Islam. Of course, atin ang nababanggit sa mga previous po natin na mga program, especially siguro nag-follow po kayo sa Batas at Sharia, yung sa program po ni Sharia Council Learner, palagi po niyang binabanggit na sumunod po tayo sa batas. May mga rulings, may mga procedures po tayo na dapat sundin. Nang sa ganoon, magkaroon po tayo ng katiwasayan po. At alhamdulillah, as Muslim po, we are really obliged to follow anuman po yung mga rules na which are formulated po ng ating saligang batas. Napakaganda po na ating masunod ito, alhamdulillah. And nang sa ganun po, pag alam na natin ano yung mga procedure na dapat nating gawin, and then kung nakapag-try na rin po kayo, and it so happen na may nakilala kayong mga new reverse streams sa Islam, you can guide them ano yung kanilang dapat masunod o kaya mga prosesong dapat sundin for their registration on conversion to Islam. Okay? So, yung sa rule number 12, ulitin ko, may mga dapat tayong masunod. So, sino man ang gusto mag-embrace sa Islam o kaya na pumasok na sa Islam, dapat i-register po ang inyong conversion to Islam. And this must be witnessed by a Muslim Filipino. Kung sakaling minor ang reverted to Islam o nag-convert to Islam, yung registration po of the conversion of that child dapat may attachment po na consent of the parent o kaya ng kanyang guardian po. Inshallah, ito yung gagawin ninyo. Of course, may attach po rin ninyo yung mga certificate na dumaan po kayo ng orientation, yung mga basic Islamic teachings po na as a Muslim revert or new revert to Islam na inyong matutunan po. Napaka-importante po nito. And of course, alamin din ninyo na dapat yung nag-issue po na sa inyo ng certificate of this, na nag-undergo po kayo ng orientation na basic principles and practices in Islam, dapat accredited po ng Muslim organization. Yung Muslim organization is accredited by the Office of the Muslim Affairs. And then mga kopya, of course, dapat meron din kayong kopya. Kung sakaling kinakailangan mo to, especially kung halimbawa mag-apply ka ng trabaho and then binanggit mo or you declare that you are a Muslim, dapat ito ang magpapatibay o magpapatunay na ikaw ay Muslim. Dahil alam natin na may mga of course may mga obligations tayo na gagawin, di po ba? Baka parang it's a way of informing your employer kaya na there are certain occasions of which you can really yung bang halimbawa sa on the month of fasting o sa Ramadan po as a Muslim Filipino Muslim, may mga gagawin ka po and siguro mabigyan din ito ng consideration po ng inyong mga employer. And maliban po dito, I've heard po may ilan po nang langan talaga ng mga certificate of conversion to Islam, lalo na yung sa mga estudyante. May mga schools din po nag-require sa kanila to show, to present, or to submit their yung certificate or registration to Islam po. Alhamdulillah. Kinakailangan po natin ito. Okay, so mga kapatid, of course, may mga babanggitin pa po tayo rito. I-share ko rin po sa inyo yung halimbawa yung sa registration of birth. Kung may anak po kayong mga Muslims, may mga anak po kayo, dapat may registration of birth na proseso na aalamin po kayo. Babasahin ko po sa inyo yung kung may mga hard copies po kayo, kung sakaling may mga copies po kayo, o kaya you can check this online. This is on page number 4 po ng kopya. Of course, yung mga binabasa ko po sa inyo, lalo na dito sa rules and regulations governing registration of acts and events concerning civil status of Muslim Filipinos, ang applicability po rito na sa Rule 6, this order shall apply in all cities and municipalities in the Philippines where acts and events concerning civil status of Muslim may occur. However, in cases where the act or event occur in a foreign country, the same shall be governed by the Rule 10 of Administrative Order Number 1, Series of 1993, and the other applicable laws, taking into consideration the beliefs, customs, and practices of Muslims thereat. In addition, the duty of the C and or MCR or the circuit register insofar as civil registration is concerned may be performed by the authorized official of the Philippine Foreign Service Establishment. And then dito po sa rule number 7, mga kapatid, ang registration of birth. May mga tatlong paragraph or nababasahin din tayo dito. Registration of birth of Muslim Filipinos shall be governed by pertinent provisions of Administrative Order Number 1, Series of 1993, and supplemented by the following specific rules. Number 1, or paragraph 1, regardless of the period of intrauterine life of the fetus when born alive, however briefly, the birth of the child shall be recorded in the register of births as a live birth. Paragraph 2, the first name of the father or the surname of either the father or the mother may be used as the child's last name, subject to Islamic or Muslim law or ADA. ADA means the customary laws. Paragraph 3, upon receipt of the certification of live birth or the COLB, this is Municipal Form Number 102, revised January 1993, the C-MCR shall examine item number 15, ito po, a religion of the father. In case the entry therein is Islam, the C or MCR shall accomplish Municipal Form 102 and require the informant to give the following data in the attachment: name of child, date of birth, the Hijra calendar, and its equivalent in Gregorian calendar, and the ethnic affiliation of parents. And then number 4 po, Municipal Form Number 102 and the attachments shall be permanently kept together and shall constitute the record of birth. Alhamdulillah. So yung nabasa ko po, yung nasa rule number 7, registration of birth, na napapaloob po dito sa rules and regulations governing registration of acts and events concerning civil status of Muslim Filipinos. Alhamdulillah. So may mga events pa po tayo na karamihan. Ito yung mga mababanggit natin, yung halimbawa yung sa marriage. Last time po na I was able to share po sa inyo mga kapatid ano yung mga articles po ng PD 1083 with regards to marriage po. So babanggitin ko po dito halimbawa yung section yung sa marriage po, alhamdulillah. Ito po ang babasahin ko po sa inyo, yung from PD 1083, of which binabanggit po dito yung sa marriage or the nikah. In section 14, this about nature. Marriage is not only a civil contract but a social institution. Its nature, consequences, and incidents are governed by this code and the Shariah and not subject to stipulation, except that the marriage settlements may to a certain extent fix the property relations. So, mga kapatid, may mga essential requisites kung sino man sa inyo ang gustong pumasok na in this marriage life, as another stage of your life po. May mga essential requisites po tayo na mababasa sa PD 1083 natin, and this is on Article 15. Babasahin ko po sa inyo yung essential requisites. No marriage contract shall be perfected unless the following essential requisites are complied with. Ano man na ito ang mga essential requisites? May 4 po akong babasahin sa inyo. Of course, yung una, paragraph A, legal capacity of the contracting parties. So may ano po tayo, may provisions po tayo dito sa Article 16. Sino-sino ba yung may mga capacity to contract marriage? In paragraph 1 po sa Article 16, any Muslim male at least 15 years of age and any Muslim female of the age of puberty or upwards and not suffering from any impediment under the provisions of this code may contract marriage. A female is presumed to have attained puberty upon reaching the age of 15. And of course, ito po yung maisalang-alang natin yung edad po ng contracting parties. Dapat may legal capacity po sila. Maliban po dito, ayun po naman of course yung hindi basta-basta po ang pumasok into marriage life. Isipin po ninyo, this could be your mapapasok, this could be a lifetime event po sa inyo, o kaya po dapat po na siguraduhin ninyo that maliban po na yung edad po ninyo ay napapasok po sa binanggit natin dito sa PD 1083, kinakailangan rin po ninyo yung financial capacity po ninyo to be in the marriage life. Hindi po biro, mga kapatid ko, sa Islam ang pagkakaroon ng pamilya. Alam ninyo siguro ito talaga, di ba? Even po sa isang bagong kapanganak o sa bagong anak pa lang, yung baby, di ba? Magastos na from its yung care ng mama habang siya po yung nagbubuntis, and then ma-deliver siya safely hanggang siya lumaki. May mga of course mga pangangailangan na hindi lamang pwede love lang ang ibibigay mo with that baby. May inline po ito sa, halimbawa sabihin natin yung sa you need something to support, like yung mga finances po na kinakailangan po or needed po sa inyong pagkakaroon ng family. And then i-add ko po yung sa Article 15 of Paragraph B, mutual consent of the parties freely given. Of course, alam niyo na po yung ano to, ibig sabihin nito. And then Paragraph C, the offer of the job and acceptance or the kabul duly witnessed by at least two competent person after the proper guardian in marriage or the guardian in marriage or the wali has given his consent. And Paragraph D, stipulation of customary doer duly witnessed by two competent persons. Okay, so that's article number 15. Ang binabasa ko, yung essential requisites. And then yung sa marriage ceremony po, mga kapatid, of which this can be read po, marriage ceremony, this can be read sa article 17 po. No particular form of marriage ceremony is required but the ijab and the kabul in marriage shall be declared publicly in the presence of the person solemnizing the marriage and two competent witnesses. Of course, this declaration shall be set forth in an instrument in triplicate, signed or marked by the contracting parties and said witnesses, and attested by the person solemnizing the marriage. One copy shall be given to the contracting parties and another sent to the circuit registrar by the solemnizing officer who shall keep the third. And then, sino-sino po yung mga pwede or this person who are authorized to solemnize marriage? In Article 18 of PD 1083, mga kapatid, may specific na mga categories po na dapat nating alamin. So, marriage may be solemnized, A, by the proper wali of the woman to be wedded. Sino-sino ba yung wali? Article 79, binabanggit po dito, sino ba yung pwedeng maging wali ng isang bride-to-be? Article 79, let's see, babasahin ko po sa inyo para at least magkakaroon po tayo ng guide. Baka iba na po yung naisipan yung gagawin po ninyo o gagawin po ninyong wali. May rulings po tayo dito, mga kapatid, on PD 1083. So, sino yung proper wali? In Article 79 po ng ating PD 1083, klaro po dito guardian for marriage or the wali. The following persons shall have authority to act as guardian for marriage wali in the order of precedence. A, unang po, binanggit dito, father. B, paternal grandfather. So, ibig sabihin, Pag wala si father, ang susunod po, hanapin ninyo yung paternal grandfather. So, siya yung magiging wali ninyo. Kung sakaling wala naman si father, wala naman si paternal grandfather, in paragraph C, brother and other paternal relatives. Again, kung wala si father, wala si paternal grandfather, wala si brother and other paternal relatives, sino naman pwede as maging wali for that marriage? This is in D, paternal grandfather's executor or nominee. And lastly, kung wala naman tong apat, yung nauna nabanggit natin sa unahan, ang court na po ang pwedeng magiging mag-solemnize. May authority po to solemnize the marriage. Okay? I mean the guardian po for the marriage. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so balikan natin yung Article 18, the authority to solemnize marriage. So dapat may proper wali. So nabanggit ko po sa inyo, in connection po ito with Article 79 ng ating PD 1083. Itutuloy ko po. In paragraph B, upon authority of the proper wali by any person who is competent under Muslim law to solemnize marriage. So yung proper wali, pwede niyang ibigay ang ito sa pagkakaintindi ko po, upon authority of the proper wali by any person who is competent under Muslim law to solemnize marriage. But sino po ba itong mga competent under Muslim law? Of course, dapat po sila yung accredited po ng PSA. And the letter C, by the judge of the Shariah District Court of Shariah Circuit Court or any person designated by the judge should the proper wali refuse without justifiable reason to authorize the solemnization. So kung sakaling si proper wali without justifiable reason, he refused for the solemnization of marriage, yung pong contracting, yung pong couple, yung to be wedded po, they may go to the Shariah District Court of Shariah Circuit Court po. Dahil may designated na by the judge kung sino pong pwedeng yung may authority to solemnize marriage po. Okay, alhamdulillah. Now, ang nabasa ko po sa inyo yung sa una, yung sa ano ba yung mga essential requisites. Alhamdulillah, yung apat po ito dito sa ating PD 1083. Next, nabasa ko rin yung edad sa pwedeng mag-contract or may legal capacity to contract marriage. And then, naidagdag ko rin po on Article 17, yung marriage ceremony, as well as itong sino yung mag-solemnize or may authority to solemnize. And in connection po yung kanina, yung sa proper wali, of course, it was in Article 79, may order po, no? So, from kung sino yung pwedeng magiging guardian po. Alhamdulillah, inshallah. And next, babasahin ko po sa inyo mga kapatid. Kung sakaling this wedding ceremony, or yung nikah po ay, naisagawa na talaga. Paano po yung registration naman po nito? Registration of the marriage. Okay. Ang babasahin ko naman po yung rule number 9, registration of marriages. From these rules and regulations governing registration of acts and events concerning civil status of Muslim Filipinos, ito yung nasa, this is issued, the Administrative Order number 1, series of 2005, by the Office of the Civil Registrar General po. Okay, ang babasahin ko po, rule number 9, registration of marriages. So dapat ito po, alamin po natin to. Registration of marriages among Muslim Filipinos shall be governed by the following rules. Paragraph 1. Marriage or the nikah among Muslim Filipinos is not only a civil contract but a social institution. Its nature, consequences, and incidents are governed by PD 1083 and the Shariah and are not subject to stipulation except that the marriage settlements may, to a certain extent, fix the property relations of spouses. This is in Article 14 of PD 1083. In paragraph 2 naman po of this Rule 9 sa registration of marriages, marriage among Muslim Filipinos performed under their customs, traditions, rights, and practices shall be reported within 30 days after the date of marriage by the officiating person, or in his default, by the parties to the marriage for registration to the circuit registrar of the city or municipality where the Sharia circuit court exists. Where there is no Sharia circuit court, marriages among Muslim Filipinos shall be registered at the local civil registry office or the LCRO where the marriage was celebrated, with the annotation that the marriage is in accordance with PD 1083, both in the certificate of marriage and the marriage register po. And meron pa po itong mga additional paragraph po, number 3. The person officiating the marriage shall indicate in the certificate of marriage municipal form 97 revised January 1993 that said marriage was solemnized in accordance with PD 1083, and fill up the attachment to the certificate of marriage with the following information. So ano po yung mga napapaloob na mga information na isusulat po ninyo? Una, yung amount of mahar or dowry, first or subsequent marriage. Ano ibig sabihin po? Is that marriage po ninyo ay yung una or subsequent? Pangalawa po ba yan? Pangatlo? Kaya pang-apat? Or tafwid, if granted, and such other stipulations. The certificate of marriage and the attachment shall be permanently kept together and shall constitute the record of marriage. And in paragraph 4, the certificate of marriage shall be prepared in 5 copies and shall be distributed by the circuit registrar or by the C or the MCR as the case may be, as follows. First copy to the contracting parties, second copy to the Civil Registrar General or the CRG, the third copy to the Circuit Registrar or the C or MCR, the fourth copy to the District Registrar if marriage was registered at the Sharia court, and the fifth copy to the solemnizing officer. And lastly, number 5, paragraph 4, other matters related to registration of marriages among Muslim Filipinos not covered by this rule shall be governed by the pertinent provisions of Administrative Order Number 1, Series of 1993. And Alhamdulillah, sana ito yung magigabay ng ating mga kapatid, lalo na po I came across on my social media, may mga kapatid talaga na they have posted their marriage or nikah on the social media. Sana po aside na naisagawa na yung marriage ceremony, alam po rin ninyo kung ano ang gagawin pa ninyo after the registration po of your marriage po. And then sa nabanggit po natin, mga kapatid, 'di ba, within yung registration po ay dapat maisagawa within 30 days after the date of marriage by the officiating person. Mga kapatid, lalo na po yung mga humahawak ng mga Islamic Center, sana po maging gabay po sa inyo yung ating binasa, yung nasa rules and regulations governing registration of acts and events concerning civil status of Muslim Filipino, yung article, rule number 9 on the registration of marriage ay nasunod po natin. And make sure po na as Filipino Muslims, nasusunod talaga natin ito. And hindi po excuse yung hindi natin pagkakaroon ng kaalaman ano yung dapat ma-follow. We are Muslims and we are obliged to to learn what are these provisions, what are these governing laws of our lives. Especially we are Muslim Filipinos, may mga batas po tayo na dapat malalaman po. And then, it's sad to note may mga ilan po tayong mga kapatid that they're not in that para bang they're not that concerned po sa registration ng kanilang marriages. So dapat sana ito mabigyan ninyo ng importansya. Alhamdulillah, maliban po dito, may mga mababasa rin po tayong mga articles sa ating batas, lalo na sa PD 1083. This is just available online. Kaya may mga contacts po kayo ng mga Shariah counselors, sa mga regular lawyer. From time to time, connect with them po. And bago pa po kayo pumasok in this marriage life, alamin po ninyo, unang-una yung inyo pong kapasidad. Okay kung nag-qualify kayo sa edad, akma yung edad ninyo to be into this institution. But please make sure rin po na hindi ninyo na-neglect yung ilan po sa mga, let's say, yung mga basic po na mga rules or mga responsibilities po ninyo as a family man or woman po. Hindi po biro ang pagpasok ng marriage life, and as much as possible bago kayo pumasok dito, you read, you understand ano yung mga provisions sa mga nabasa natin sa PD 1083, o kaya naman po ano yung mga makukuha ninyong mga karagdagan, mga informations from the Shariah counselors natin o kaya sa ating mga regular lawyers po. Dapat magabayan po tayo whatever events that we're about to enter in our lives, lalo na po sa ating mga newly reversed to Islam. Alamin po natin ito, mga kapatid. And by that po, magkakaroon po ng kahusayan ng ating pamumuhay po, especially living in a society where we have to be in a harmonious relationship po sa ating mga fellow citizens of our community po. Alhamdulillah. Ang susunod ko pong babasahin sa inyo, mga kapatid, ay yung about the divorce. We have time pa po, inshallah. And alhamdulillah, we're about to finish our first hour po ng ating program. And the next hour po ng ating program, mga kapatid, I tried to read to you ano yung mga halimbawa, mga types of divorce. Okay. Chapter 3 ng ating PD 1083, this talks about divorce or talak. In section 1 po, it talks about the nature and form. So yung Article 45, this is about definitions and form of divorce. After reading these articles po, Article 45, as much as possible, mabasa ko hanggang Article 52, babanggitin ko rin sa inyo ano yung rulings natin sa registration of divorces. Okay, so a little background lang po ito. Of course, babasahin ko lang po ito sa inyo. And kung ano man aking mga mabanggit, outside po sa mga articles or provisions po ng ating PD 1083, those are my opinion lang po. Okay, in Article 45, definition and forms, divorce is the formal dissolution of the marriage bond in accordance with this code to be granted only after the exhaustion of all possible means of reconciliation between the spouses it may be affected by. Yung pong tinatawag natin your divorce is a formal dissolution of the marriage bond in accordance with this code to be granted only after the exhaustion of all possible means. Hindi po basta-basta magkakaroon ng divorce ang Muslim couple. Hindi po pwede na isulat lang po ninyo in a piece of paper na you agreed between yourselves na divorce na kayo. Di po ganun. O kaya sinabi mo lang na talak. Especially ito yung from the husband side na ganun kadali po. No. Dapat po malaman natin ano-ano po ba yung mga ano yung mga forms of divorce. Okay? So in Article 45 po mga kapatid, of course, nabasa ko na sa inyo that divorce is a formal dissolution of the marriage bond in accordance with this code to be granted only after the exhaustion. So, ibig sabihin na hinahanapan talaga ng mga pamaraan na kung pwede maibalik yung magandang ugnayan ng couple. But kung sakaling hindi na po mangyari ang gano'n na status nila, so ito, pumapasok na yung mga iba't ibang forms of divorce. Paragraph A, repudiation of the wife by the husband or the talak. Letter B, the vow of continence by the husband or the ila. Letter C, injurious alienation of the wife by the husband, zihar. Letter D, acts of imprecation, lian. Letter E, redemption by the wife or kul. Letter F, exercise by the wife of the delegated right to repudiate tafwid, or G, judicial decree or fast. Sa mga susunod na articles mga kapatid, and we'll read to you ano yung mga definitions sa mga nabanggit po na mga forms of divorce. Unang-una, in Article 46, ito yung divorce by talak. A divorce by talak may be affected by the husband in a single repudiation of his wife during her non-menstrual period or to her within which he has totally abstained from carnal relation with her. Any number of repudiation made during one to-her shall constitute only one repudiation and shall become irrevocable after the expiration of the prescribed ida. And in number 2, a husband who repudiates his wife either for the first or second time shall have the right to take her back, ruju, within the prescribed ida by resumption of cohabitation without need of a new contract of marriage. Should he fail to do so, the repudiation shall become irrevocable talak by sugra. In Article 47, divorce by ila, ano naman po ito? Where a husband makes a vow to abstain from any carnal relations or the ila with his wife and keeps in such ila for a period of not less than 4 months, she may be granted a decree of divorce by the court after due notice and hearing. Article 48, divorce by zihar. Where the husband has injuriously assimilated zihar, his wife, to any of his relatives within the prohibited degrees of marriage, they shall mutually refrain from having carnal relation until he shall have performed the prescribed expiation. The wife may ask the court to require her husband to perform the expiation to pronounce the regular talak should he fail or refuse to do so without prejudice to her of seeking other appropriate remedies. Yung sunod naman po, in Article 49, this is divorce by lian. Where the husband accuses his wife in court of adultery, a decree of perpetual divorce may be granted by the court after due hearing and after the parties shall have performed the prescribed acts of imprecation or the lian. In Article 50, divorce by kul. The wife may, after having offered to return or renounce her dower or to pay any other lawful consideration for her release, that's the kul, for the marriage bond, petition the court for divorce. The court shall, in meritorious cases and after fixing the consideration, issue the corresponding decree. In Article 51, divorce by tafwid. If the husband has delegated tafwid to the wife, the right to effect a talak at the time of the celebration of marriage or thereafter, she may repudiate the marriage and the repudiation would have the same effect as if it were pronounced by the husband himself. And ito po yung sa Article 52, divorce by fast. The court may, upon petition of the wife, decree a divorce by fast on any of the following grounds. So, ang mga kapatid na mga Muslima, pwede alamin po natin, ano ba itong divorce by fast? Ano yung mga conditions? Ano yung mga following grounds? Paragraph A, neglect or failure of the husband to provide support for the family for at least 6 consecutive months. Baka nangyari na po ito sa inyo mga kapatid ko, mga Muslima, na may failure na po yung husband ninyo to provide support for the family for at least 6 consecutive months. Ang magagamit po ninyo, ito yung nasa Article 52, that is the divorce by fast. May may mga conditions po na dapat ma-qualify bago ka gumamit ng divorce by fast. And then paragraph B po of this Article 52, conviction of a husband by final judgment sentencing him to imprisonment for at least 1 year. So ito po yung letter C, the failure of the husband to perform for 6 months without reasonable cause his marital obligation in accordance with this code. In paragraph D, impotency of the husband. Paragraph E, insanity or affliction of the husband with an incurable disease, which would make the continuance of the marriage relationship injurious to the family. And paragraph F, unusual cruelty of the husband is defined under the next succeeding article. Or in G, paragraph G, any other cause recognized under Muslim law for the dissolution of marriage by fast, either at the instance of the wife or the proper wali. Okay, and ito yung sa Article 53, fast on the ground of unusual cruelty. A decree of fast on the ground of unusual cruelty may be granted by the court upon petition of the wife if the husband, may 5 po tayong dapat titingnan mga kapatid. A, habitually assaults her or makes her life miserable by cruel conduct even if this does not result in physical injury. So, ibig sabihin, kahit yung mga verbal abuse ng inyong husband, magagamit po ninyo ito na reason filing that divorce by fast po, yung ground on unusual cruelty. Paragraph B, associates with persons of ill repute or leads an infamous life or attempts to force the wife to live an immoral life. Halimbawa, kung minsan siguro, kino-compare na po kayo ng mga ibang wife doon, alam niya. So, pwede po na, in my opinion, ito po, magagamit po ito. Paragraph C, compels her to dispose of her exclusive property or prevents her from exercising her legal rights over it. So, kung halimbawa may mga propiedad po kayo mga kapatid and then parang he forced you to dispose of your property and o kaya you are not given your legal rights to exercise, to prevents her from exercising her legal rights over it, ito po, magagamit po ninyo ito, mga kapatid. Of course, sa ulitin ko lang po, mangyayari lang po ang dissolution of this marriage or yung divorce na nabanggit natin, granted lang po ito only after the exhaustion of all possible means of reconciliation. So kung malimbawa ito, hindi na talaga siya maawat, naging habitual na po yung mga ginagawa niya, yung mga unusual cruelty, so why stay in a relationship na hindi na po kayo happy? Nakaka-affect po ito sa inyong pang-araw-aral na mga activities. You would be emotionally drained po. So, better that to consult po sa inyong mga Shariah counselors o mga regular lawyers. Ano ba yung mga pwede mong magawa to to solve such problem or yung issues po ninyo mga kapatid. Of course, I always advise po sa ating mga kapatid that before you take an action po, dapat these are always in line with our laws. And as I have read with you, I have shared with you that you can consult our mga Sharia counselors po for their expertise. Dahil sila lang po talaga makapagbigay sa inyo ng mga ano po yung mga dapat yung mga gawin as much as possible to live a life of a bang magkakaroon kayo ng peace of mind po. And continue ko po sa pagbabasa yung nasa Article 53 mga kapatid. Dito po sa paragraph B, obstructs her in the observance of her religious practices. Ano po ibig sabihin nito? Pinagbabawalan ka po na maisagawa mo yung mga obligation mo as Muslim. Magiging ground po ito. This is found in Article 53 po. And then letter E, does not treat her justly and equitably as enjoined by Islamic law. Napakaganda po na magkaroon tayo talaga ng kaalaman mga kapatid sa ano yung mga articles or provisions na napapaloob po ng sa PD 1083. This would be our guide po. And of course, our knowledge po, yung mga kaalaman po natin, ay ma-share po natin sa ating mga kapwa, mga Muslims. And paalala ko rin po, may mga programa na rin po tayo, limbawa yung sa Batas at Shariah, of which ang ating butihing kapatid na Sharia Counselor Nor, nagpapaalala po sa inyo ano ang mga dapat ninyong gawin at ano ang mga dapat nating gawin as Muslim Filipinos. From time to time, anyway, this can be retrieve o kaya pwede natin ma-check po sa mga YouTube files po ng mga ganitong mga program. And inshallah, we find time to sit down, to listen, as much as possible, try to seek din po sa mga experts advice po. Napakaganda po na malulaman natin ano ating mga dapat gawin at sino the right person na ating pong hingian ng tulong. Hindi po pwede basta-basta lang. Kasi nagtataglay po siya ng prefix na ustads. Baka itinuturo na po sa inyo ay labag na po sa batas. Alamin po natin kung ano ang tama po. Okay? So, eto po. Sorry po sa mga kung may mga nabanggit po ako na mga hindi po kaya-aya, humingi po ako sa inyo ng paumanhin po. Okay. And next na babanggitin ko po mga kapatid, as I have mentioned earlier, na yung mga napapaloob po na rulings sa Rules and Regulations Governing Registration of Acts and Events Concerning Civil Status of Muslim Filipinos issued by the Office of the Civil Registrar General. Ito po yung Administrative Order Number 1, Series of 2005. Ang babasahin ko po dito, yung registration of divorces. Kung sakaling nagamit po ninyo ang mga articles o ilan sa mga articles na sa PD 1083 na nabasa ko po kanina about the divorce, ano ang susunod po ninyong gawin? In Rule 10, Registration of Divorces. Registration of divorces among Filipinos, Muslim Filipinos, shall be governed by the following rules. Ito po. Number 1, divorce is the formal dissolution of the marriage bond in accordance with PD 1083 to be granted only after the exhaustion of all possible means of reconciliation between the spouses may be affected by the following. Number 2, paragraph 2, repudiation of the wife by the husband or the talak. Vow of continence by the husband, ila. Injurious assimilation of the wife by the husband, the zihar. Acts of imprecation, the li'an. Redemption by the wife, the kul. Exercise by the wife of the delegated right to repudiate tawhid, or judicial decree fast. These are in PD 1083. So, next po na babasahin ko mga kapatid, this is in paragraph 3 of rule number 10. A divorce pronounced by the husband or by the wife in case of tafwid and such other forms of divorce shall not become irrevocable until the expiration of the prescribed ida. So sa mga hindi pa gaanong kabisado, anong ibig sabihin ng ida? Ida is the period of waiting prescribed for a woman whose marriage has been dissolved by death or by divorce, the completion of which shall enable her to contract a new marriage. Okay. So pagpatuloy ko po mga kapatid, the first and second divorce, the talak, are revocable during the iddah, and the third is irrevocable. If the spouses fail to reconcile during the iddah, they can only reconcile through a new contract of marriage. In case of the third divorce, they cannot anymore reconcile to each other unless the wife is married by an intervening husband and the latter divorces her, and after the expiration of the iddah, the former husband may remarry her. Okay, in my opinion po mga kapatid, na kung sakaling nagawa na yung pangatlong talak po ng husband, ng Muslim husband, hindi na po siya pwedeng makipag-contract ng marriage unless nagkakaroon po ng the wife is married by an intervening husband. Unless po magkakaroon siya ng, yung si asawa po, yung si babae po, is married with another intervening husband and later divorces her. And after the expiration of the iddah, the former husband may remarry her. So may mga kondisyones po na dapat alamin po, lalo na po kung sakaling nagkakaroon ng desisyon si Mr. na he would take her back, yung sa asawa niya na naitalak niya for the 3 times. So may mga mababasa po tayo sa PD 1083. At saka po ito sa rule number 10 na binasa ko po. And then paragraph number 4, any Muslim husband who has pronounced a talak shall without delay file with the clerk of court of the Shariah circuit court of the place where his family resides or domiciles. Any Muslim husband who has pronounced a talak shall, without delay, file with the clerk of court of the Sharia circuit court of the place where his family resides or domiciles, or in the most accessible Sharia court, a written notice of such fact and the circumstances attended thereto, after having served a copy thereof to the wife concerned. The notice filed shall be conclusive evidence that talak has been pronounced and shall constitute the certificate of divorce. In case the divorce is through a court decree, the corresponding decision shall constitute the certificate of divorce. Inshallah, babasahin ko rin po yung sa mga succeeding paragraphs 5 and 6, mga kapatid. Sana po nabigyan po kayo ng ng mga idea na po, no? And hopefully magkakaroon po tayo ng mga karagdagan pa pong kaalaman. Okay, to continue po, sa paragraph 5, all certificates of divorce or court decrees shall be registered in the Shariah Circuit Court. Okay, mga kapatid, I have known ilan po sa mga kapatid natin na sinasabi nila na they are divorced from that woman or someone, but they don't, when asked po, they don't have the proper procedure na sinusunod po. Di po tama yun, mga kapatid. Dapat po, from time to time, alamin po natin kung ano yung mga laws governing our lives. Kaya po dito sa paragraph 5 of this Rule 10, sinasabi po na all certificate of divorce or court decree shall be registered. May mga proseso po na dapat talagang sundin. And this shall be registered in the Shariah Circuit Court. The Shariah Circuit Court, or the LCRO, where the marriage was registered, shall be furnished a copy of the certificate of divorce or court decree for annotation in the certificate of marriage and the marriage register. So 5 copies of the certificate of divorce or court decree shall be submitted for registration within 30 days after the date of divorce by the interested party. Klaro naman po yung time frame po na ma-accomplish po ninyo ito. And lastly, but these numbers, paragraph 6 po sa Rule 10, the circuit register shall distribute the 5 copies to the certificate of divorce or court decree of divorce as follows. The first copy po sa husband, second copy to the wife, third copy to the OCRG, the fourth copy to the district register, and the fifth copy for his file. Alhamdulillah, I have shared with you ilan sa mga articles po ng ating PD 1083, at at the same time po, na-share ko sa inyo ano yung mga pwede nating gawin batay po sa rules and regulations governing registration of acts and events concerning civil status of Muslim Filipinos. Unang-una po, kanina, I have shared with you yung kung may mga nagko-convert po sa Islam. Ibig sabihin, yung mga taong who embrace Islam, hindi lang po hanggang doon yung kanyang gagawin. May mga legal procedures batay po sa ating mga batas na mababasa po natin rin sa Sharia law natin. Of course, mababasa natin sa PD 1083 yung may registration of conversion to Islam po tayo. And of course, binabasa ko rin yung mga provisions from PD 1083 in relation po sa binanggit nating registration of conversion to Islam. By the way, yung sa Rule 12 po na nabanggit po natin kanina, yung sa paragraphs 1, 2, 4. And alhamdulillah, kung halimbawa within your marriage life and nagkakaroon po kayo ng mga anak, may dapat din po tayong alamin na mga procedure. And kung may mga anak na kayo for registration of their birth po, mababasa po natin ito sa rules and regulations po dito po sa ating yung issuance po ng Civil Registrar General, yung Administrative Order Number 1, Series of 2005. Pangatlo, I have shared with you yung mga articles na mababasa natin from PD 1083, yung from articles 14 to 21 with regards to marriage or nikah of Muslim couple, and then yung sa corresponding registration naman po of this marriage. Of course, nabanggit po kanina or naibasa ko po sa inyo yung 5 mga rules na dapat po sundin. So sa kung sakaling may mga copies din kayo or hard copies or nababasa po ninyo ito online, This is the Administrative Order number 1, series of 2005. And lastly, mga kapatid, yung na-share ko sa inyo, yung about divorces, yung definition of forms of divorces, batay po sa ating Article 45 to 54 of PD 1083, nabanggit ko po yung mga ilan forms or types of divorces, and then in connection po dito sa rule number 10, yung sa registration of divorces, at akin pong na-share sa inyo. Alhamdulillah, nawa po yung ating mga yung na-share ko po sa inyo sa ngayon ay at least nagkakaroon po ng kaliwanagan or kaya nagbibigay po sa inyong idea na ano yung mga dapat nating matutunan, dapat nating gawin as a Muslim Filipino, as a Muslim Filipino abiding citizens po. Dapat po alamin natin ang mga ito, and we are living in a society of which ang goal po ng ating government that this will be para bang we achieve yung fulfillment or yung harmonious relationship po ng ating mga fellow Filipinos in our community. Pag naisunod po natin ang mga rules and regulations na ito, and of course, from yung knowledge po natin from the competent persons, lalo na yung sa mga Shariah counselors or yung mga regular lawyers po, and this would be our guiding rules and procedure paano tayo mamuhay as a Filipino, Muslim Filipino citizens. Importante po, mga kapatid, that halimbawa yung sa mga kapatid natin na nagdadala ng mga Islamic Center, I would suggest po na magkakaroon kayo ng mga constant reminder na para sa ating mga kapatid po. Siguro during the Jumaa time po, doon po ninyo maiparating sa ating mga Muslims, lalo na sa mga newly reverted to Islam, ano po yung mga batas, ano yung mga laws, rules, regulations, ordinances, policies governing our life. Marami pong mga benefits po na maibigay sa atin ang mga kaalamang ito, and of course, bilang mga Muslim po, dapat in a society, maganda po ang imahe na ating maipakita sa ating community. Of course, we know very well as Muslim po, lalo na po hindi sa mga kababayan halimbawa natin na hindi nila gaano alam kung sino ba talaga ang Muslim, ano ba ang Islam. Kung ang pinagbabatayan lang po ng kanilang mga informations ay yung mga nakukuha po nila sa tri-media o kaya sa social media o kaya ano ba yung nababasa nila sa mga articles, ano napakinggan nila o napanood nila sa television, o kaya ano yung kanilang mga naririnig sa mga radyo, baka po mali na po yung mga napakinggan ninyong mga information. Of course, you need, lalo na sa ating mga kapatid na mga Muslim, from time to time, you need to plan po paano mapa-improve o madagdagan ang ating mga kaalaman. So I am suggesting po sa ating mga kapatid, lalo na yung mga nagdadala ng mga Islamic centers, na makipag-coordinate po kayo. We have brothers, we have sisters who are into the studies of the Shariah laws. We have also mga kapatid o kaya mga friends o kaya mga family members ninyo who are regular lawyers. These are the competent persons na atin pong puntahan. I-approach po natin sila, puntahan po natin sila, tanungin natin sila, ano ang pwede nating magagawa po. And nang sa ganun po, baka pwede po na with their expertise, they can share their expertise, their knowledge, or their experiences as practitioners po ng ganito. Baka pwede po ninyo silang ma-invite, mga speakers po sa anumang mga orientation na pwede niyong mai-organize para po sa ating mga reverts to Islam. Napakaganda po pag ito ang pagpapaplano, pag-delegate sa mga different tasks, lalo na sa pag-disseminate in this kind of education sa ating mga kapatid, and then having this plan into a reality. Napakagandang bagay po ito. We should not only be concerned ano yung mga kakainin natin araw-araw, ano yung mga iba't iba pang activities mo. We should be concerned yung pong pagpasa ng mga very informative information na may kaugnayan po sa ating pamumuhay as Muslim, as Filipino Muslim. Hindi naman po mahirap ang mga gawaing ito, mga kapatid. Hindi naman po mahirap. Basta tayong lahat, as a community of Muslims, ay tulong-tulong po. Of course, just like in a body, we are of different rules. May iba-iba po tayong kakayahan, may iba-iba po tayong mga kaalaman, even yung pagsasuggest ng mga idea, of course, malaking bagay na po yan. Talaga, makakatulong para sa kaunlad po ng ating Muslim community. Yun namang may mga different mga tasks or mga responsibilities. Marami po tayo sa ating mga communities. May mga professionals po tayo. May mga different experts po o mga expertise po nila in different field. Magamit po natin yung kanilang kaalaman. We just approach these people po. Halimbawa, on the side sa ating mga engineers, they can talk about ano yung mga rules, mga regulations na dapat nating alamin. Halimbawa, sa pagpapatayo ng building, ano mga proseso na masusunod before a building be built in such place. May mga kapatid din tayo, halimbawa, they are licensed real estate broker. Before we buy something, we purchase property or real estate. So we have to learn from these people po. And of course, this may only be happening pag tayo as mga Muslim are really clear in our goal of being contributor of the positive contribution po sa ating society. Marami po mga human resources na pwede po nating na talaga ma-ex-house o kaya ma-share with others, mga kapatid ko. Alhamdulillah, I'm so happy na I have time to share this with you. And I'm so happy, alhamdulillah, that you also give time to listen to my sharing. Inshallah po, sa next episode po ng ating pag-usapan natin, hopefully magkakaroon tayo ng mga guests that we can learn from them. Ano po yung kanilang pwedeng ma-share, inshallah. Sana po you can coordinate with me po kung may naisipan po kayo mga expert of such field. Let's say may mga dentist tayong mga kapatid na mga Muslims, may mga abogado, may mga doctors, mga inhinyero, may different expertise po nila. Pwede ninyo silang i-connect po sa akin. My FB account po is Elinida Jess, of which pwede po kayong makipag-coordinate at mag-message po. Nang sa ganun, magkakaroon naman tayo ng mga iba't ibang issues na ating mapag-usapan po for this Friday program po ng GPTV 168, itong pag-usapan natin. Napakaganda po pag tayo ay concerned really sa ating community as Muslim po. Every time na ginagawa po natin ito, nakakatulong po ito sa ating mga kapatid. And of course, we know marami sa ating mga kapatid that they have spent their time, most of their time on social media. And we can encourage them to learn on what these concepts na nakakatulong sa kanila, lalo na po sa itong mga programa. Share with them po ng ating programs, with this GPTV 168 programs. And sa mga hindi pa po nakapag-like ng ating YouTube channel at hindi pa po nakapag-subscribe, please like, share, and subscribe po ng ating YouTube channel of this program at din sa official FB page po ng Global Pinas TV 168, especially sa ating pong programa, of which nakatuon po ito sa ating mga kapatid na mga Muslims. Alhamdulillah, marami po tayong mga pwede pang ma-share sa inyong mga opportunities po. Kung sakaling mga kapatid, meron kayong mga halal products, you can connect with me at be my guest po sa aking Halal TV Shopping. And that would be live stream po every Monday at 1:45 to 2:45 po in the afternoon. So kung sakaling may mga kakilala rin kayo that they are into selling halal products, please coordinate with me po. And you can call me po on my mobile number 09950111543. And to mga kapatid, maging Muslim man o hindi Muslim, pag may kakilala kayong mga OFWs and they are into online selling o kaya may mga paninda po sila, encourage them po na mag-endorse ng kanilang mga products dahil may program po tayo, yung OFWs, Celebrities Online Sellers, of which pwede po sila magbenta o kaya mag-sell ng kanilang mga products, and they are welcome po as guests po natin. Tulong-tulong lang po tayo mga kapatid, especially sa panahon po ng pandemya. Napakaganda po that we put a smile on the faces of our mga kapatid o kaya mga kababayan po. Natutulungan natin sila to endorse their product. Alay po natin, baka ito yung daan na magkakaroon sila ng maraming mga customers or clients. Baka pa from ibang bansa pa yung mag-order sa kanila, di ba? At least ikaw yung naging way na may malaking improvement sa kanyang paninda po na mangyayari. Of course, ito po kasing e-commerce, ito po yung pagbebenta ng mga products through online. Alam natin that parang this bloom sa ating bansa on this pandemic time, but of course matagal na po ito nag-i-exist yung mga e-commerce. Pero sa mga ilan po sa ating mga kapatid na mga Muslims, hindi pa sila gaanong sanay o kaya hindi pa gaano alam nila ano ang online or e-commerce po. And of course, i-introduce natin sa kanila, this is an opportunity po, lalo na sa ating mga OFWs. And next, I am so happy to share with you, marami rin tayong mga programs like the Luz Bimin Bazaars Online. This is every Friday po. Alhamdulillah, every 12:45 to 1:45 po. So this is for Muslims and non-Muslims. May mga products po kayo, mga Muslim styles, lalo na yung ginagamit pang pag-pray, pwede rin natin mai-endorse dito po sa ating program. Kung sakaling may mga alam po kayo mga organizations, mga kapatid, organizations, especially for the women, na kung saan nagpo-produce sila o kaya gumagawa sila ng mga different products, let's say mga malong, o kaya may mga handicrafts po sila, ang mga organization ito, i-link po ninyo sa akin at bigyan natin sila ng opportunity through GPTV 168. Ito po yung programa na alhamdulillah na naigawa talaga nila President Ismail Abaya na tulong po sa ating mga kapatid. So naging instrumento po lahat tayo, sana maging instrumento tayo sa ikaunlad po pang-ekonomiya ng ating mga kapatid o kaya ng ating mga kababayan. So i-share po ninyo itong mga opportunities. Maliban pa po dito mga kapatid, meron din tayong Balik Islam program po. This is every Sunday, 11 to 12 po. Of course, ini-invite natin dito yung mga reverts to Islam. Their journey to Islam ay ang ating i-highlight po. Okay, so para na rin po itong dawa natin. Okay, pag-share na ng ating kaalaman yung ating mga experiences, ano ba ang sino ba ang Muslim? Ano ba ang Islam sa buhay natin? Ano ba yung ating din, Islam? And alhamdulillah, baka po maging instrumento tayo na magbigyan ng linaw ang ating mga kababayan na ano talaga ang Islam. So they must learn those concepts from within or among us as Balik Islam. So maraming stories tayong matutunghayan with this Balik Islam program. Alhamdulillah. And next po, may program po rin po si Shariah Counselor Nor, yung sa Batas at Sharia, of which our butihing Shariah Counselor Nor, dito po binabanggit po niya yung mga batas at Sharia po na dapat po nating malalaman. These are the laws that the laws that govern our lives as Muslim. And marami pa rin po, may isa pa po rin program of which I am co-hosting with Sister Abigail of Pampanga po. Si Sister Abigail, she is into ticketing business. And of course, yung program namin po is every Sunday, of which this is stream live sa any assessment of Congressman Mindato in regards to my leave. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alaikum salam, Sister Mona. Thank you for watching po sa ating program. Kapatid, yung pong yung sa una pong nabasa ko yung question po, alhamdulillah, sorry po, I could not give my opinion po. Maybe we can ask po sa ating mga butihing mga Sharia counselors po and then mga lawyers po. Sila po they have the authority po to discuss such issues po. Salamat po sa pagtatanong, kapatid. And thank you for for taking your time to listen to this program po. Alhamdulillah. And of course, yung balikan ko nga lang po yung about sa halal travel and tourism, of which si Sister Abigail po of Pampanga yung nag-co-host po. This is live stream po every 7:30 to 8:30 po on a Sunday po. Gabi po yun, mga kapatid and mga televiewers natin. Alhamdulillah, so of course, alhamdulillah, we are nearing to our time, and of course, buong pusong nagpapasalamat po ako sa inyong time na nailaan po sa pakikinig. Nawa po may konting na i-contribute po ako sa inyo sa mga nabanggit ko po na mga articles o nabasa po na mga articles from page 1083. Sana po ay maragdagan pa po natin ang ating mga kaalaman na ito. And nawa po yung ating mga kaalaman, of course, we can have this po sa pagbabasa o kaya pag-ask po from the experts. Ito po yung ating dapat gawin po. And sa mga nabanggit ko po, sa mga nabanggit ko po rito, ulitin ko po, those are my personal opinion and those do not represent any legal advice po. And kung may mga issues kayo pwedeng maitanong, yung mga issues po ninyo on concerns po, please seek the advice of the Sharia counselors as well as the mga regular lawyers. Okay, sa muli po, ito po yung lingkod Elenida Jess. Buong puso nagpapasalamat sa inyo sa time na inyong nailaan. And good evening po sa inyong lahat, and assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh po.